time to lighten my step.
There's a whole bunch of you. Take another step and I'll pin your foot to the dirt. What's going on here? This is ridiculous. We have bigger problems here. It proves everything! The warrior slams her fists together in a resounding clap. Like, for instance, whether you're fit to lead that flock of children. Behind her, the members of her gang posture with weapons held at the ready. Did you not hear the news of the edict? This is a foolish distraction. We ought to be saving our fight for the enemy. The chorus warrior looks to his gang, giving them a quick nod. What's the problem here? No problem here, Lord Binder. She tosses her blade in the air, catching it with a smile on the way down. Captain Fuckwit here seems he's about to balk from this challenge. Thinks just because he used to run a ship, he's qualified to run a gang. She spits on the ground, looking up with a scowl. So I'm calling him out, because the way I see it, his warriors ought to follow me, not this new blood. Captain Fuckwit was my father. Fuckwit will do just fine. The warrior points at the opposing gang. If you have to prove our strength, we'll do so happily. But I'll leave my hands and feet removed with the rest of you kept for my own use. I'll have your hands and feet there. This is according to their customs. And this is the way that they do sort out their stuff, so I'll let you fight this out. Soldier offers a quick solemn nod. Come, who will be first to meet my blade? The gang leader tosses a knife from one hand to the next. They got annihilated. What are you looking at?
Right.
It's outside their base technically.
Good thing I keep a torsion wrench handy.
See what's around this side. Anything interesting? Rotting body bearing scarlet chorus war paint skewered upon a wooden pike. Ooh, dead people. I'm sure it has something of use. Wink.
You got it.
There's a chorus ground. State your business. Past this point is chorus territory and you don't look like someone's conscript. You sure you're in the right place? I am Mordred the Powerful, Fatebinder of Tunon. I'm here to help vanquish the Oathbreakers. Glare silently. You know, I think I was told to expect somebody, but you seem too ugly to be him. Her lips crumple into a smirk. Why exactly should I let you in? And more importantly, what's this hulking ton of iron doing here? The guard gestures at Barrack with a sneer. Clearly strength rules here, so we're going to step in close and push her down. Before she can draw her blade, you advance. Place your foot behind hers and give her a stiff shove in the shoulder. Caught off balance, she tumbles backwards, triggering an outburst of laughter from the other guard. I can't believe you sassed the Fatebinder. You're such a stupid ponce. Didn't I tell you we were to have a special gift this evening? The guard waves you in with a smile. Come on in, and don't let the niddy shitters in the camp give you any guff. Yes.
On it.
Death Knell, that's an awesome name. I want to talk to you. You? As much an accusation as a question, the broad-shouldered woman shakes her head with a scowl. So you're tuning to fight, Binder? I was expecting something more impressive. She bows in spite of her misgivings. Death Knell, Scarlet Fury, my time is yours for as long as it amuses me. The fighter effortlessly springs a bronze sword above her head. Let's get one thing clear. Stick to your words and law. Leave the fighting to the grown adults. Your corpse would just be a tripping hazard for those of us having the proper bit of carnage sport. We've got enough useless twats dying for our name as it is. All our horde recruits seem good for, of late, is piling up shit and wreaking mound in the battlefield. She hums low to herself and flips the sword from side to side with several deft flicks of her wrist. Keeps up and we'll have to toughen our recruitment standards again. Now, what do you need? Tell me about them. We're the voices of Narat's glory made manifest. In the chorus, strength rises and the weak feed the soil. Death Knell smiles, standing tall as she extols the army. Our ways terrify the cowardly and shock the naive, but our traditions existed to offer promise and prestige to those who claim to those fit to claim it. We abandon all petty rules for one simple law. The strongest must lead. What's your role in it? Death frowns her eyes narrowing. Do you not recognise the Scarlet Fury when you see one? We are the warrior spirit of the chorus. Scholars of sword and shiv. She folds her arms, puffing out her chest. In peace, we train those tough enough to endure our lessons, but wise enough to learn from the best. In battle, it's our duty to slay our foes and inspire the horde with our skill and bravery. She clicks her tongue, looking aside to the others in the camp with an eye roll. We are the fearless vanguard of all this confused but glorious rabble. What were you expecting? Let's see. From your deeds during the conquest to how you've helped us since then. I expected a mountain. A warrior of colossal size who could shout a rampart wall into submission. But I think you'll do just fine. So yeah. Not going to pick fights, so I don't need to. Salvaros, who are you? Hail, Fatespinner. Tunon. The disfavoured officer pounds a heavy gauntlet against his chest in a stiff but warm greeting. Were I a betting or a superstitious man, I'd say fortune must favour me today. I am not. But I am pleased to meet you all the same. Now, what brings you to my little slice of personal damnation, otherwise known as, he spreads his thickly gloved hands wide, this here modern shit stinking chorus camp? Where you stationed at the chorus. From the way that most days go, you'd think it was the row of the Blood Chanters and the Scarlet Furies. But my post is to represent the disfavoured interest before the Fifth Eye and the Scarlet Chorus for the Iron Marshal Eniros. Now that I've gotten to do... Not that I've gotten to do much of either in this last span. What do you think of them? Have they been cooperative? No one tells me anything. They all lack honour and discipline. Don't think they could cooperate even if that's what they actually wanted. Guess I shouldn't be surprised considering they serve the Archon of Secrets. Keen observation. I'm glad we see eye to eye, sir. It's nice speaking with someone who doesn't try to frustrate the piss out of you every 4 words. It's like they don't even care. I'm the closest thing to a friend in the disfavour they've got. Bye.
Interesting.
Is that your way of saying you want to say something?
You look as if you have something on your... What can I do for you?
Have I not done your talent? I have. So why is it shining? Oh, you have an attribute point, that's why. Aha. Well then, Barak, I think that you are probably... armor deflection or health. Or endurance. We'll go with health. So, do you have stances? No. Greg and Baz. What's up, Baz? Well, look who we have here. Chewing on some manner of cud, a heavy-set soldier flings spittle and crumbs as she talks. The Fatebinder finally shows himself. I'm Reg. The second soldier climbs in. And this is Baz. We were wondering when you might pay the camp a visit. The Fifth Eye has been a little starved for attention. He ordered us to watch you like a troublesome babe. Make sure you don't get out of line. Baz knits her fingers together, joints crackling. She smiles. Reg clears his throat loudly, scowling at Baz. Something like that. If you have any questions, ask us. Good luck finding anyone else in camp who'll give you answers, or even smile. Anything we can do for you? Tell me about yourself, Baz. I was a sellsword at the beck and the call of the fat merchants, just another dented face in the crowd. After too many years of spilling blood in local skirmishes, I realised that I was only killing time. Then Kyros showed me a better way. Unity. Purpose. Now I fight for something, not just someone. Been watching the Scarlet Furies practicing my blade work. Not good enough to join them yet, but I could show you a thing or two. Tell me about yourself, Reg. He scratches the back of his head, at a loss for words. Well, I had a family, a farm. Then Chorus came and, well, now we'll have his chorus. Whoop, shit. Priorities change when you hear screams in the night and feel a blade pressed to your neck. Things like farms and families don't seem as important. I used to have nightmares thinking about the culling. Felt awful, remembering how I hacked my mum and dad to bits just so I could survive. Reg's eyes shadowed for a moment with sorrow take on a feverish gleam. Fifth Eye heard me howling one night, pulled me out the horde and took an interest in me. Now I'm studying magic, calling fire from nothing. If my mum and dad could see me now, they'd be so proud. Tell me about your time in the Scarlet Chorus. Reg and I were conscripted in the Gates of Judgment. We used to fight for Archon, me for Azure. Baz chuckles, sketching a chin in thought. How many fights have we survived so far? 11. Reg begins to count in a series of his fingers. No, 14. I'll count each day in sunder separately. The chorus is... Baz looks about the camp and shrugs. Not as bad as it smells. The strong, like me and Reg, we're allowed to take what we want, what we deserve. We only live as well as our strength affords us, as it should be. What can you tell me about the fifth eye? Reg takes an Reg trades an uncomfortable glance with Baz and lowers his voice to a whisper. They say he shares a direct link with the voices in Nerat. Guard your tongue around him. He's a little... wild, bloodthirsty, mad. Brilliant. Reg flinches and glances over his shoulder. I was going to say eccentric. The chorus isn't picky about who joins the ranks, as long as you can expect to find some unusual types. Most are as likely as to kill you as promote you. What do you know about the Vendrians well? The walls might seem imposing, but the Vendrian Guard do a better job hiding its weaknesses than fixing them, she shrugs. We took the Citadel once before, we can take it again. We have to, don't we? Reg looks up at the imposing tower of the spire. Though Kyros knows I don't want to stay any longer if don't want to stay any longer than necessary. She follows his gaze and shakes her head. You don't know any better than to parade your cowardice before the Fatebinder? It's not cowardice, it's just superstition. You afraid of the spire? I'm sorry, Fatebinder, I shouldn't have mentioned anything. He sighs. Fact of the matter is, we were told to stay away from the spires and odd walls ever since we were babes. All of the dumb childhood lessons that fell by the wayside. That one stayed the same. Imagine a soldier of the chorus pissing himself over architecture. More like what's underneath it, Reg frowns. The Bane lurk under all the sights, kill anything they can catch unawares. I've no doubt to meet the Bane in combat unless we are 100 blood chanters at my back. She twists her lip into a frown. She considers this. Me neither, I suppose. And they can teach stuff, but I'm already at maximum skill, I think. The threadbare tend to show signs of hard use and long-term exposure to the elements. Fifth eye, haha. The binder of Tyrion arrives. Tunon arrives. Squealing with a teenager's timber, the fifth eye's voice makes your gums itch and your fingernails feel in need of a trim. And we just finished having a bit of sport with some captives, but worry not, we'll have some fun with another batch momentarily. Dressed in the bare red regalia of the Crimson Spears, the fifth eye beckons you to stand close, wagging a blood-splattered glove. Now that you've issued this edict and doomed us all to die, have you come to help us climb out this hole? Chirps of laughter emanate from under his marks. I trust you... Oh no, that's me. Ha! I trust you're getting your warriors ready for battle. I'm not here to follow you every order, but we need to work together to stop the edict. How's the camp responded? I have other things. I trust you're here getting your soldiers ready for battle. We know the Oathbreakers are focused in the Citadel beneath the mountain spire, but we have learned that this is not their only nest. The fifth eye wags a hand in the air through a high-pitched squeal of displeasure. Given their pattern of attacks, I feel like they must have a second group maintaining camp in the outer valley, and unless we deal with this second group, they'll attack from behind the moment we cross the river. The disfavoured think you can't control the Horde and that many are defecting back to the Varangian Guard. This is likely to insult him, but I want to know. Wrong! And perhaps, he gestures with his spear at the arc in the sprawling camp. It's no mean feat to herd this many desperate lives. For every 2 hands of humanity, there's at least one figure that snaps the stress out of our ways. A few have been lost in the margins, I won't deny that. But if you store grain, expect some rat feces. If you lead killers, expect some desertion. So do you need help taking out these Oathbreakers? And while a good old-fashioned slaughter would be an efficient solution, the smarter answer is not to kill them, but to add their strength to ours. It's true. My last group of scouts returned with a batch of new prisoners, and one of these prisoners can lead us to the Varangian Guard secondary camp, though there are shreds of deception in her voice. I could use your help questioning this Varia Kell. Perhaps you'll get less screams and tears and more useful information out of her. If we knew where to ambush the Oathbreakers, we could try to take their captain, and show them the wisdom of joining the chorus. I'll speak to the prisoner. I'll meet you there. She's waiting by the other prisoners. What's that? Scroll. The scroll sits here, glowing with mystic energy. I'm reading it. Learn new spell course, Sigil of Illusion. Hello. Those who master the sigil of illusion are skilled in the arts of deceit and trickery, using its powers to misdirect and confuse their targets at critical moments. Often derided by combat mages for its inability to kill outright, those who specialise in illusion know its powers can turn the tide of any battle. It merely requires someone that's smart enough to know how to use it. So if we have focused, then it can... masks the target in a blurred illusion, making them harder to hit, which increases deflection by 30%, and grace deflection, okay, so it's a buff. Okay, so it's afflicted with prone for 4.1 seconds, so it knocks them down, and does a tiny bit of damage. And I can increase the area of effect. So it's an AoE knockdown. It could actually be quite useful. You know what? I'll take it. Oh, I can't. Law required 55, which I can't afford. Well, we can reduce the range, or the distance. Range 8 meters, area of effect 1 meter. If I have this, 2 meters, so it doubles the area of effect. But yeah, I would like it. Level 1. Boom. And can you use it? You could. We'll give it to you as well. You have a law skill of 23, so you can't.
Will do.
Quireman, let the faint binder speak with our catch of the day. Raquel. Please! Someone! I wish to bow before the voices of Nara. I thought all could find redemption in the chorus. A woman in makeshift armour of the Varangian Guard lurches forward in agony. Her soiled, trembling legs suggest she's been forced to stand for days. This one, he flippantly waves at the prisoner, was hollering earlier that she knows the location of the Varangian Guard encampment, but she isn't being entirely honest. I told this thing, the prisoner tells pale for a moment, with a look of determination comes over her face, that I wanted a guarantee. I'd live and I'd be welcomed to the chorus as a captain. Then I'd talk. Otherwise, they just get to kill me once I've opened up. I was dumb enough to join with the Varangian Guard, and I'm not dumb enough to give away my bargaining bronze. You claim you would disavow your people for the Scarlet Chorus. Why the change of heart? Because I want to live, and you don't need to be the Archon of Premonitions to know that the younger realms are gone for good. She blinks several times, catching her breath. Kyros is the new strength of the Tears. I'd rather stand with his Archons and be crushed by them. And why would I trust the words of an Oathbreaker? I suppose I have no answer for that. Viraya's eyes fall to the ground and she swallows nervously. When I joined with the Varangian Guard, I accepted their broken vow unto myself. Have you not felt passion for a foolish cause? One you would later come to regret? Well, my surrender is sincere and I'm willing to bow before the voices of Narat to prove it. Tell me what you know and I can see to your release. I heard the chorus is looking for a Captain Pilox Felorian and his crew. I can lead you to them, but only if you release me. She turns her head, taking a long look at the skewered and smouldering corpses around her. She tugs at her restraints, but to no avail. Start talking. Well, technically the subterfuge is a higher level. Do I even have that level of subterfuge? I can't tell. It would be really nice to know what my subterfuge level is, because I'm pretty sure it's lower than 30. Must be. Well, you see, shaken by your demand, her lips moved wordlessly for several seconds. So I don't know exactly where the rest of my crew is, but, I can tell you. She shakes her head, catching her breath. Search by that one. She reaches up with her right leg and points with her foot, calling attention to a nearby pile of corpses. The tall dark one is missing most of his face. Check his left boot. He was the literate one in our crew. He had the orders. With a snap of the fingers, a pair of quiremen, he yanked the boot off the fallen guardsman. A rolled parchment slides out the boot and is thrust into the fifth eye's hands. He unfurls the scroll to give it a read. It's nonsense. Just a mash of words. Laughter erupts from under the mask. She said she had information. She gives us garbage. Slay this wretch for wasting our time. He snaps his fingers at a nearby Scarlet Fury, who promptly snatches a long knife from her belt. I'm going to remain silent. Make the cut shallow. Give her some time to get toying with me. The Scarlet Fury slices open Varia's neck, pinned to a final resting post. The Vengean Guard soldier thrashes and fails for several long moments before bowing her head in death. At least let me read the bloody script. How am I meant to make judgments without all the information? We're no closer to finding the Oathbreaker's position, not with this cryptic mess. She promised us answers and all she gave us was gibberish.
Sorry to interrupt, but I highly doubt it's gibberish. More likely, it's one of the local scripts.
The voice comes from another prisoner tied up next to Varia, an older gentleman with the quills, ink files and parchment scrolls one finds on the sages the scroll of ink and the quill. Ink smudges over his cheeks, temples and ears. His clothes appear charred, and between the rips of the fabric you spot burn marks along his arms. Despite being emancipated and tied to a post, he offers a beaming smile. I'll read it for myself. You unroll the parchment and see a message of modest length written with a professional, albeit hasty penmanship. The Tearsmen speak the Cantor just like the Northerners, but they leave half a dozen different ways of writing it. This particular script is unknown to you. Can you read this?
Well, let me see. I can't.
You hold the parchment in front of the bound sage, and his eyes dart down the length of the missive. He reads the words a second time, nodding in silence.
I don't know exactly what it says, but I'm half certain that's Sage Selwyn's handwriting. I'm sure I could decipher that in a few hours' time. Don't need my hands free, but I think better when not tied to a post. I know, I'm weird that way.
A few hours? Either you can read it or you cannot. What use is a sage that doesn't know his letters? I've heard all I need to hear. I say we have some fun with this one. Your life depends on translating the scroll. Now.
I would love to help. I just need some time. That's written in another sage's shorthand. I'd have to sit down with it, or better yet, compare it to a piece of his writing I have stashed on me somewhere. If I sat down with it while sufficiently sober, it's highly probable I'd figure it out.
Sober? Since when do we share the good stuff with the prisoners?
Oh, nobody shared. Right before I was taken prisoner, I imbibed several vials of reagents. I wanted to be numb and disconnected when my captors used me for carnal catharsis. It's made these last few days tied to a post almost enjoyable.
Can't hurt to give him a few hours. You read the edict. I don't need to tell you the sundial is working against us. This addled old bag is just trying to stall us. The voice of the narrator will be upset to know you squandered a source of enemy intelligence. How true. But then we shan't put him to waste. He shall serve as the most riveting source of amusement as we put him on trial.
Fatebinder, I beseech you, be my advocate for this trial. I'm no fool. I know the chorus uses blood, not words, to settle these matters. But you are a servant of the Archon of Justice, are you not?
Fine, but I'll be his champion. This one needs to live.
Good. I like it when Tunon's puppies get their paws dirty.
I wouldn't mind taking a swing at some loudmouth chorus braggarts myself.
Did you hear that, brothers and sisters? Raising his arms to the sky, the fifth eye roars for all nearby to hear. Trial by combat is upon us! The sage is unbound from the post. Stiff legs nearly buckle as he attempts to walk, and his arms flex and flail in their new freedom. Wiping sweat and grime from his brow, the sage steps close to you with a nervous smile. Rhythmic roaring and the stomping of hundreds of feet in unison flood the camp. Horsemen begin to circle and swirl around, brandishing weapons and cheering. If they get this worked up about to fight the enemy, eventually the war would be over by now. Begin the chant of gathering. Let the warriors know that tonight's entertainment will soon commence. So, who do we get to fight? Brothers! Sisters! Who amongst you sets the standard for strength? Who amongst you will help winnow the weak from the strong? The fifth eye waves his hands in the air, drawing a gathering of chorus soldiers. Our claimants have been assembled. Now the trial of the Oathbreakers can begin.
Enough.
Alright, so we got Lantry, who's a level 3 already. Let's very quickly go and level him up. He has 2 points. I'm going to make you an out-and-out wizard, I think. Although, actually, it would be nice to know what your abilities are. Quill, Sage, and Preservation, so you could also be a Cleric. We don't currently have a Cleric in the party, so that would be kind of useful. So I'll be the damage dealer, he's the Cleric. Well-aimed Quill is target interrupting them. Alright, so that's basically dagger abilities. Meh. Watcher's Judgment. Lantry strikes his target, interrupting them and lowering their non-physical armor. If used from stealth, this attack will also paralyze the target. Grants Lantry hit position the ability to decipher ancient languages. Skill useful discovering new magics during travel. Hang on. Do I not have this? Apparently not. Well, I would take him just for that ability. Which one was it? Was it one of these? No. So he's got control over Vigor, he's got control over Life. No, it was this one, Voice of Ages. So we're going to give you a point in this, and then the Voice of Ages. Which will hopefully help you in translating that scroll. Next query is what spells exactly do you have? Oh, and also this, yeah. Spell Strength would be useful. I think I'm just going to beef up your Spell Strength. Times 2. And then Magic. You currently have the Restoring Touch, which is plus 26 health. And Titan's Touch. Yeah, you are definitely a mage type character. And we have the same amount of law. Now I'd like to give you an offensive spell, if I may. Oh, you can make it an AoE. No, you can't. Oh, you can't do it in battle. That's unfortunate. Whoa, hello.